Good evening. Hello.
Hello. How's everybody doing?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Gormlings, Gormkin, and all the others.
It is Friday. Go on, Duncan. Interrupt the
I was just going to
And
say
again,
hello to Ken, Caroline, and Alison, because I'm not sure if there's anybody else there.
Hello.
well, wherever you are in the world, folks, the millions of Gormkin that will no doubt tune in afterwards on Tinder and Grindr. It is Friday, the 4th of June, 2021. I'm your Friday night messiah. The Gorms is what most people call me, sometimes known as Alistair or Stewart. I'll be your host, your guide, your compere this evening, and I've been joined by a couple of members of the band, the Gorms. So first up, we have not in the Arctic studio by the look of things. Looks like a beautiful day where you are, Jack. Where are you today?
I'm in the lovely Malibu sort of sister property to the studio today. Enjoying a bit of sun. I think it's on the green list here. I don't know. I went by private jet, so I don't really need to worry about things like that. But I'm here, and it's lovely. So I've got the window behind me.
Burning through that Gorms furlough money. Well, don't say I'm not good to you. Well, good to have you, Jack. The guitarist from the Gorms sometimes plays the Gorms, so it's nice to have you in tonight. And Duncan, I noticed that you're in a bit of a shithole this evening, if you pardon my French.
It's not my usual. It's not my usual kind of random place. I'm in Vienna today, and I'm
Like
not
that
on holiday
Ultravox
because
song.
Exactly.
Like
it means nothing to me either. However, it is where my other band is based, and in order to make some money this week, hopefully, I was out for some rehearsals, and I have a gig coming up next Friday.
So that's why we
I
can't.
know that.
Eh?
Yeah, I know that that's actually the Gorms Day. That's why we weren't there last Friday, because I am not on holiday, because you're not allowed to go on holiday if you're from the UK anymore.
No, I'm here recording
But
serious stuff.
yeah, you're allowed to leave the country if you have a reasonable excuse. So for us musicians, that means work.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're not enjoying yourself. That's good.
No, I'm having a miserable time.
Good. Well, I'm pleased to
It's
hear
not a
you're.
holiday. It's not a holiday.
I mean, it does look like
I'm
a bit
cool.
miserable. The lighting where you are, it's all a bit. It looks a
Well,
bit grey.
I didn't want to show you outside because it's rather beautiful here today. It's been 28 degrees, sunny. I was wandering around in the centre of Vienna, watching everybody sitting outside all the bars, which are completely open, enjoying a nice Austrian Radler or whatever else it was they were drinking, eating ice cream, looking like they were having a laugh. And I didn't want to depress you, so I thought I would just show you the inside of the place I'm staying.
Great.
Cool.
Well, thank you very much for taking time out your very hectic schedule in Vienna to tune in. Folks, of course, Duncan, the bagpipe player, the flautist, the multiple instrumentalist, at one time a bass guitar player for the Gorms, but it was so unreasonably talented that we had to stop him doing that. Well, guys, it's great to have you both here. You know, I love having my musicians in as guests on the show.
I love having my backing singer in too. It's cool.
So if you have just joined us the first time ever this evening, well, you've come in the right place, folks. This is the Gorm stream. We took a little hiatus last week because things are starting to open up here in Scotland, which is where we're from. So we are, even though some of us are in Malibu, some of us are in Vienna. At the moment, the live music has not started up again in Scotland. So we've been doing these live videos in the meantime as a means to beg for support and money. If you are interested in the highly intellectual debates that we'll be having this evening, then feel free to have a look at us on Bandcamp. If you type in The Gorms, it's a very silly name, so there's not too much comes up on Google or YouTube apart from us, and any support that you can throw our way is always much appreciated, whether it's buying some of our multi-platinum records that they're not quite multi-platinum yet, but they will be multi-platinum, so it's worth having a look at that. There's one of them there. You can see with artwork on the cover like that, how could they possibly fail?
And I've got some good news as well.
What's that,
Not
Jack?
only are these available, our second album and our third album, but I just heard on the
Oh,
grapevine.
don't tell me.
I just heard the other night some rumors, but I believe them to be true, that the new album is the last process that needs to be made to get the CDs done is done. So the next thing we'll be waiting for them to get them printed and send them to me.
So you'll
Apparently.
ship them all from Malibu.
Yeah.
Is that why you had to go there to get the CDs printed?
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
He's working hard, just like you, Duncan.
Well, we're not allowed to be on holiday, so we have to have work where we go. You're allowed to go on holiday as long as you've got a gig as well.
Well, while you've been sunning yourselves around the world, I have been in Scotland, and yeah, nothing much changes here, folks. You know, we don't have a lot of social mobility in the country, as I'm sure you're aware. So I've just been slumming it to the best of my abilities. But people were asking for, they were asking about the band, to be honest. They weren't asking about you two. But yeah, everything's been okay. Thanks very much, both of you, for asking. Yeah, it's nice of you. All right, well, anyway, folks, what we have
So
lined
how
up
are
this
you?
evening.
How are you, Mr. Cook?
Too late now, too late. What we have lined up for you this evening, folks, is a jam-packed show with lots of entertaining information, some wonderful music as well, a lot of great singing, and some nice sort of accompaniments to go along with the music. If you do have any comments, if you're driving home
Some
tonight,
egg shaker. Carry on. I'll just do the background music.
It's the egg.
Then please send us your comments. We are open. We've got phone lines are open to the usual number. Of course, text messages, MMS. Duncan, you've got the fax set up in Vienna. Is that right?
That's right. The Gormlings are indeed sending me their faxes as we speak. Alexander Crawford says she's in the Ensign Ure having a wee drink.
That's weird.
But it's not the same without us.
You're in the Ensign Ure and we're not.
Yeah, that's what we're meant to be playing.
No, that is completely ridiculous, isn't it? No, it's Friday night's whiskey night normally, isn't it? Or have I got? Has it been so long that I've completely forgotten what we do on what night normally? Anyway, glad you're there. I would love to be there, but it's not happening today. Ken says, hello, Gorms, Gormy, and all. I am in Vienna, but like I said, I'm here for work, so it can't be avoided. Ken says, hello, Gorms, Gormy, and Gormlins. Happy Friday to you all.
Hello.
Caroline says, glad you're back, one and all.
Glad you're back.
Oh, come on, work.
Duncan, Ken said Gormy.
Where is Gormy?
Well,
did you leave him behind? You didn't even take him.
Gormy said, I did. Well, I mean, I asked him if he wanted to come with me, but he said he wasn't willing to go in my suitcase again. So
I mean, animals have to quarantine longer, don't they?
Well, because he's not a musician and he wouldn't have been coming for work, he would not have been exempt from the quarantine.
Well, he's like your support
so
pet.
it would have been pointless,
so
really.
He has to be there.
Pet, yeah.
I actually thought your minder.
Yeah.
I saw Gormy.
Pretty much.
Saw Gormy this afternoon when I was uptown.
What was he doing?
What was he doing? Where was he going?
He was in the Four in Hand.
Oh, on Easter Road.
Yeah, he was talking to that woman Caroline that gives the in the toilet.
Oh, her for the sauna down the road.
Mm-hmm. But Gormy wasn't here today. Instead, we had some sort of a Gormy impersonator start the show. What was that about, Jack?
That was me playing a tune.
What was you?
A wee bit of guitar, yeah.
What were you playing?
A tune called The Dark Island.
Actually, do you know the original name?
Not sure.
This is one I always forget. It's Dr. McInnes's, maybe. Farewell
right.
to Benbecula.
Ah.
That's what you were going to say, Jack, right?
Exactly.
It's not Dr. McInnes. It's Dr. somebody's farewell to, I'm sure it's Benbecula. But it was used for the Dark Island TV show in the 60s, and that's why it's commonly known as the
And then
Dark
people
Island.
have put lyrics to it as well, I think, over the years.
Yeah, that's right, aye.
But yeah, just
It's
a
lovely
little tune just to get the proceedings started, you know. And now we're 10 minutes into the show without any other music.
Maybe we should remedy that.
I hope you did enjoy that. I hope you enjoyed that opening track. And if you are driving home this evening, you're thinking, "God, I love this. I love listening to these wise, young, handsome intellectuals." If you're on the podcast, that's believable. If you're watching the live video, of course, you'll know that's not true. But
the three wise monkeys.
Maybe you're thinking, maybe it'd be nice to hear some music from Edinburgh. Remind us of why we love that place so much. Jack, have you got a local band lined up to play to us this evening?
One called the Gorms. I've got them lined up here.
Oh, they're my favourite. They're my favourite. Let's get some of them on.
I thought start with a classic, start with something familiar, just to get the proceedings going. So Johnny Cope.
Oh, wonderful. One of my favourites, that one.
Cope sent a message straight at my St. Charlie, meet me and me dog. I'll learn you the art of war if you meet me in the morning. Hey, Johnny Cope, are you walking yet? Are all your drums are beaten yet? If you were a walking, then I would wait to gang till the cows in the morning. On he threw his sword, the scabbard from. Follow me, my merry men, and we'll meet Johnny Cope in the morning. Hey, Johnny Cope, are you walking yet? And all your drums are beaten yet? If you were a walking, then I would wait to gang till the cows in the morning. When Johnny Cope he heard of this, he thought it would be ging amiss to hae a horse in readiness to flee awa in the morning. Hey, Johnny Cope, are you walking yet? And all your drums are beaten yet? If you were a walking, then I would wait to gang till the cows in the morn. Off I, Johnny knew, be good your word. Let us ride with fire and sword. Dinna flee like a frick dead bird that's fleed his nest in the morn. Hey, Johnny Cope, are you walking yet? And all your drums are beaten yet? If you were a walking, then I would wait to gang till the cows in the morn. Off I, Johnny knew, get up and run. The Highland bagpipes knock it in. It's best to sleep in a hairless skin and flee your nest in the morn. Hey, Johnny Cope, are you walking yet? And all your drums are beaten yet? If you were a walking, then I would wait to gang till the cows in the morn. When Johnny Cope to Berwick came, they spirited him, where's all your men? The deal confound me, get I can. They left me all in the morning. Hey, Johnny Cope, are you walking yet? And all your drums are beaten yet? If you were a walking, then I would wait to gang till the cows in the morning.
And we're back. That song was finished. I kind of didn't notice it.
Oh,
actually
wonderful! It's an offy fast tune. That one. It goes by like almost like the battle. It's almost as if there was no battle at all because one side just ran away because they had no leader or something. Is that right, Stu? That's how it goes, isn't it? Johnny
First
Cope,
general.
up and ran.
First general in European history to bring tidings of his own defeat. You don't mind if I smoke, do you?
I like the way it looks on the light beam that's coming down on you. Looks kind of angelic.
I don't normally smoke inside the house today, but Mum's away this weekend, so should be okay.
It looks cool to do it on the stream.
She doesn't know you're in Vienna, by the way.
Don't tell her.
I won't. But here, while you're in Vienna, Duncan, have you got any information coming in on the World Wide Web from any of the Gorm?
The old fax machine. Let's see who's with us. Caroline's with us. Glad you're
Hello,
back.
Caroline.
Oh, I said that already, didn't I? Eileen Mullins here.
Hello,
Happy
Eileen.
Friday, Gormlins. Hope you've all had a good week.
We have. It's been
Have
sunny.
you? I've had a good week. Last week was incredibly busy. I had rehearsals for filming from 10 o'clock at night till between 2 and 6:30 in the morning was the latest. So it's been, yes, a good week, but incredibly busy.
And was
Caroline says,
your boyfriend? Yeah, I was just going to say, Duncan, was your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whoever you were working with, were they pretty? Did it work? Did all the stuff work in the filming?
Oh, aye. We had 5 cameras. Part of the trick was trying to figure out where they should be.
It's a lot of angles.
And then a lot of angles, man, and lots of fire, which had to keep getting renewed. So
that can be dangerous, the fire, but it's very effective. I mean, I don't watch the dirty films these days anymore, but What are we talking about? Anyway, move on. Sorry.
Move on. We can come back to that and clarify, make sure that everybody knows that I was not involved in making any kind of pornography. In actual fact, it is music. Anyway, Caroline says, best thing to come out of the lockdown. Oh, I've frozen again.
Do you want me to take over?
Ken says, gatherings on Friday, I agree. No, I think they're good. It's just this laptop seems to be a wee bit slow. I had to leave mine at home.
I notice your sound quality isn't quite as good this week.
Jack spent all the money for the laptop on a Malibu vacation.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least, you know, if he gets bored looking at us, all he has to do is swing around in his seat and he can look out the window and
There it is.
It's that.
A bit windy.
I mean, come on. Trisha D. Hall Newland's in the house.
Hello. You're glad you could join us. I heard
the
was it not that the time zone wasn't right for the stream? So hope you're not staying up too late. Carry on, Duncan.
There's also the YouTube version, which you can watch later. You just can't comment.
I realised.
Ken says, "Aye, the radiator is a dead giveaway."
Where? Not what radiator?
The radiator's a dead giveaway that you're in the tropics.
Yeah, but there's a radio in the studio to keep the, you know, when it does get cold at night, because it's really hot weather, climate sometimes get really cold at night. So we have to put that heater on to keep the instruments warm.
Understood, yeah.
But that's the window to outside.
Is it like a dehumidifier kind of thing?
Sort of like that, yeah.
That'll be what it is. David Lee Smith is asking, is Leith on the green list?
I think so.
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure you need a passport to get out of Leith normally, so I don't know how they are about letting folk in these days.
Yeah.
I don't think they're quite so. They're not really happy down there because St. Georgestown happened last week.
They're always firing a lot of rockets. A lot of rockets get fired up here at Edinburgh.
St. Johnstone. Sorry, what? David Lee Smith says, the music is weaving haunting notes, pizzicato strings. The rhythm is calling alone in the night as the daylight brings the cool, empty silence, the warmth of your hand.
God, see our viewers, man. This is
thank you, David.
Poetic.
That's nice. A nice thing to send. I don't know what that's from, though. Is it from a film or something?
Just David.
I'm not sure, because David has sent us quite a few quotations from films. I believe the last one was from Jaws.
And I think there was a Blade Runner one.
A few weeks ago. Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay.
Ken says you're a diva, Stu. Spoken like a true diva, but that may have been from before. I usually run a wee bit behind with these comments. Caroline says, go on, Duncan, show us outside Vienna. We can cope with it. Glad you're all getting out and about, working again as best you can. It's starting to get a wee bit dark now, Caroline. I don't think I can, but what I can do is take some photos when I get out again and post them on the Gorms Facebook so you can see how lovely it is here, because it is a pretty beautiful city.
Rub it in our face. Go on. Yeah.
Daniel Spee is here.
Hello, Daniel.
It's almost as nice as Edinburgh, so you know, as long as you can get back up there, you won't be missing too much. He says, "Happy Friday, Gorminators."
Gorminators.
We keep talking about this. I haven't yet made a list of all the. I haven't made a list of all these things to go on a T-shirt yet, which I haven't made either. David Lee Smith. David,
I
don't have another David in the chat, so I'm just going to start calling David.
Weird sounds happening right now.
It was me talking at the same time. I was just going to ask Jack why you're wearing a Henry Ford T-shirt. Of course, he is one of the great American patriots, I guess you could call him, or a right bad bastard, whatever side of the fence you fall on. But you got a Henry Ford T-shirt on. I thought you were more of a Nikola Tesla sort of guy. You were in the electrics and stuff, weren't you?
Yeah, this is a Robert Anton Wilson reference, the author. He's it's a reference to it's hard to even explain, to be honest. That's why it's always a good idea to wear t-shirts where you can't explain to people what it means. Yes.
The same guy that wrote the Gorminati trilogy.
Yes, the Illuminatis trilogy.
I know we have some Gorminati in tonight, so.
Good.
Well, David was just asking for a closer look at the bookshelf, so maybe if there is to be a Gorms book club this Friday, now would be the appropriate time. Do you have any Robert Anton Wilson there? You could explain what Fnord refers to?
I've got some in the other room. In the other part of the studio where I keep all the books.
Well, I do have a Gorms book club lined up for this evening, but it's actually a. Oh, that was when he fights the bear.
Oh,
great movie.
You know, I actually watched an Arnie film recently called something like Red Alert, in which he played a Russian policeman, and it can't have been too long after that one because his accent was still pretty ropey.
Oh, what's that called again? It's Red.
Yeah, with the guy from the Blue Brothers.
It had Jim Belushi was in it as well. It was Jim Belushi and Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was terrible movie. I'm sure it was called Red Alert or something like that.
Red Heat.
Red Heat, that's it.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, Red Heat.
Yeah, he was in the sauna at the start. He gets his bum out again. He's always getting his bum out, Schwarzenegger.
That's it.
Yeah, he was
well, when it looked, you know, he was probably still trying to figure out where the camera was. Oh, he's not known for his acting skill or his intelligence, really.
That's why
he was just facing the wrong way.
That's why his bum was in so many films.
That's why he's always
know where the camera was.
Because he doesn't care where the camera is.
We can
exactly.
We can do
he's facing the wrong way.
We can do the book club in a little bit, but as I say, it's not going to be a hard copy this week. But I'll just give you a quick look there. You can take your PDFs at some of those. This is a good one if you like your Edinburgh stuff. This is Chambers Traditions of Edinburgh. It's a lovely copy there. Henry Coburn as well, or Cockburn. If you're from San Diego, you'd probably call him Cockburn. And of course, here's our boy, Robert Burns, one of the greats. The rest of it's mostly sort of apocrypha and things like that, not too interesting. But
Babylon 5 sort of encyclopedias.
Yeah. Just well, you don't have the internet. You gotta work what you can get, you know. Boy. Sorry, I'm actually sitting down this evening. I was doing my yoga just before the the stream started this evening, so I run out of batteries now. But the book club is coming. I've got a lovely.
So when you said you were doing yoga,
when I said I was doing yoga, it was just a moment ago.
Yeah. Had you just literally fallen over and you were trying to get back up again?
No, I had a gentleman caller, but we'll talk about that off the air. And in fact, we can talk about it now. Maybe it's time to line up another track to play to the Gorminati.
Let's see, what do we have here? Let's play a song off our new album.
Oh, great.
Johnny Sangster. Keep the Johnnies coming, because the last one was Johnny Cope.
Northeast, this one. It's a good one.
Keep the Johnnies coming. It's one of my favourites.
Harvest is the only time, yet it is the rarest. We rise as soon as moments like critters can be blithe. Buckle on our finger steels and follow the cipher. And we you, Johnny Sangster, I'll trim the gavel on a sheaf. You're the gallant cheek. Afore that we get fodder, the clouds are blue tobacco-reek. We then suit out an order. The sheaves are rising thick and fast, and Johnny he mun bind them the busy group. For first the stick and scarce to look behind them. And with you, Johnny Sangster, up from the gabble of a sheaf, you're the gallant bandstar. I'll gie you bands that win a slip, I'll plead 'em wheel and thorn. I'm sure they'll win a teeny grip, however will you draw 'em. I'll lay my league out of the sheaf and throw the band say handy. Elke share of strach's a rash and that'll be the dandy. And with you, Johnny Sangster, up from the gabble of a sheaf, you're the gallant bandstar. A dainty cooey in the byre, for butter and for cheeses, a grumpy feeding in a sty would keep the hoose in greases. A bonny ewe in the bug would help to crease the ladle. We'll get roughs a canny woo to guy and think the cradle. And with you, Johnny Sangster, up from the gabble of a sheaf, you're the gallant bandstar. If e'er a chance to be my lord, to get a gallant bandstar, I'll gar him wear a gel coat, and I'll bring him goud and hand fuzz. Johnny, he can please himself, I wouldn't wish him blinket. After he has brewed his ale, he can sit down and drink it. And with you, Johnny Sangster, up from the gabble of a sheaf, you're the gallant bandstar.
For you, Johnny Sangster.
It's a good one, that. Is that your favourite, would you say?
It's one of my favourites. He likes a good drink, that boy, doesn't he? I think
Johnny.
That's what I understood for the lyrics. Johnny, aye.
He likes having his sheath gavelled.
Whatever that means.
So I was out
right.
having a wander in Malibu the other day, and they've got charity shops there, just like they do here. So I saw a tape.
Good old thrift stores.
A thrift store, and I thought I'd go in, have a look around. They've just sort of reopened recently, and I found this tape. I'm going to just show it on the screen here. The Alexander Brothers.
Great. Fine.
Malta Camerling, thank you so much. You just sent us £20. So that'll pay for,
Ace.
you know...
My flight back to
20
Scotland
Alexander Brothers.
from...
It's £19 now, basically, because I've just bought
right,
that
yeah.
Alexander Brothers tape. And also, Bob Newland just sent us £20 as well. Thanks so much, Bob. It's really...
Cheers, Bob. Appreciate it.
Cheers, Bob.
Really great. Yeah, so this was the tape that I saw. Alexander Brothers Scotland for me. Thought you'd enjoy that.
Did you buy it?
No, I put it back because I thought someone else might appreciate it a bit more. But
After you put your grubby hands on it as well. I guess no cases of coronavirus.
I wiped it down. Yeah.
You wiped it down. I'm sure you did.
I did.
I seem to remember listening to their version of Old Maid in the Garret a few times. Was it the Alexander Brothers version we listened to? While we were deciding how we wanted to play it.
Could have
We
been.
just copied them, I think.
Well, not exactly, but I'm sure we did listen to it. Daniel Spees here, he said, missed the last two streams, so glad to enjoy this one live again.
Cheers,
And
Daniel.
watched back the one from 2 weeks ago. What a performance. Well, thank you very much. 2 weeks ago was when we actually did manage to get together and play live, wasn't it?
It was fun.
So that was probably the best one we've done in the last 6 months.
Yeah, so it's funny because once you do that, you give people a taste of that again, and then we go back to whatever this is. But,
Maybe take a week off and then come back to this.
But the plan is, after a bit of, once things get a bit more settled, then we're going to start doing them as live music again. Well, on stream we'll be playing together.
Well, me and Jack
But
did
bear
a couple
with
of
us.
gigs. We did a couple of shows in Edinburgh. There's mean, there's a couple of pubs that have started doing the music again. So we're doing a show. We got another one tomorrow night, Duncan. You'll miss it, of course, since you're sunning yourself in Vienna, working hard, I would say. But
I'll be teaching again on Monday, and I have a gig on Friday on the Rosenbühne in Baden. So they're having even bigger live gigs here than in Edinburgh, because there's going to be 4 of us.
No, we're having bigger gigs.
Instead of just
we're having bigger gigs. But we got to play the plastic screen.
Let's just measure them and be done with it.
I'm doing an even bigger secret gig that I'm not even going to tell you about.
Sure,
it's 1,000. Well, just in the VIP bit, which is on stage with the band, it's going to be 100 people. So, so you can imagine how busy that's going to be in the crowd.
And which venue in Malibu is that, Jack? Just in case anyone's interested.
It's the local local football stadium, but in Malibu it is actually allowed. So don't worry.
Okay, Duncan. Let's get back to these drive time viewers. Were they faxing
yes.
tonight?
Sorry. Well, so David was just keeping us right. He said that yes, Friday night indeed is whiskey night. So it would be tomorrow normally that we would play at Ensign Ure. But anyway, that's not happening right now. Trisha D. Hall Newland's here. Happy Friday, Gormkin. Bob and I have the whole family listening. Well, hello to all of you.
We better be careful, not be too rude then.
So far, there's more of that to come. David said, Gormy is missing, but is that new picks that Jack has? What? Please don't tell me that you've turned my wee pal into guitar picks.
No, I would never harm him. He needed a haircut, a shell cut. That's the same as a haircut, right? So I just took this off the back of him, but that grows back, that doesn't it?
You took one, did you?
Just took one off the back.
Well,
and I curled it purple.
Gormy's a special tortoise. I dare say unique. So
it sounds good. It's worth it.
So I'm sure it will grow back. Ken's saying he thinks Gormy stayed behind because he'd swiped right on a lovely army helmet and wants to see how that plays out.
Definitely.
I know what from which era though? What do you think? What kind of helmet would Gormy really fancy? Would he go for one of those old Prussian ones with a big spear on the top? Do you think? Or maybe more of a Tommy one, nice and smooth. Do you think he likes them nice and smooth?
I think he does.
I'm not really sure.
I think he likes helms.
Easter Road Ochai, says David. It is David that's the Hibs fan, isn't it? He's been awfully quiet about that. I wonder why.
Yeah, well, they had a good run in the cup.
Nudge, 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 wink, wink, St Johnston. Ken speaking to Daniel, yes, last week was a week off. The brothers decided Friday last was a needed bye-week to rest and relax. Indeed. Well deserved, says Daniel.
Thank
David,
you. Thank you, Daniel.
In all caps, is asking for Arthur McBride. Is there any way we can add to the playlist?
Let's see if I can do that right now while we stall and make it seem like it's all professional.
Okay, I'll continue this. Ken's saying, I made a lovely bête noire today. It's so delicious, I've already eaten 2/3 of it. So if you want photo, you'll have to Google it for yourself. There you go. If you want to know what a bête noire looks like, Google it. Because you can't see Ken's because he's eating it.
Excellent, Ken. Yeah. Good to hear you're still baking away in San Diego.
There was a recipe recently. Well, actually, most of the people watching, I think, were in on that. You'll know about the Cranachan shortbread that was available, or the recipe for which was available recently from our good friend Ken. David's asking, Stu, is that an AT-AT walker you've got on your shelf?
It is.
There we go. Risa Glass, or Risa Glass, I'm not sure I hope I've pronounced that right at least once. I made it. Salutation, Gorms. Salutations to you as well.
New
Thanks for joining
Gormkin.
us.
Always welcome.
You Gormkin. You don't know what you've let yourself in for. Oh, David says, okay, so we were talking about his quotes. The one this week was, in fact, from Vienna by Ultravox. Mid-year was Ultravox, wasn't it? Vienna.
Yes. Also, the guy who did probably one of my favourite songs, that song "Feed the World," the Live Aid one, Band Aid.
That's the one where he takes care of Bob Geldof for a week.
I think Bob Geldof was in it. Yeah. That's my favourite song.
Mathilde Lafitte. I know that name very well. Hi, boys, she says.
Should I ban
Hello.
this person from the
I'll
stream?
speak to you later. It wouldn't make any difference. Should we take this opportunity to play some music?
We could do that. Maybe we could...
Did you manage to get that technological wizardry sorted?
I did. I've got Arthur McBride lined up. So let's put that on. Here we go.
It's a teary one. It's
not a
like
teary
this one,
love
Duncan?
song, though.
It's one of my favourites. It's not. No, it's not.
All right, here we go.
Oh, me and my cousin one Arthur McBride, as we were walking down by the seaside. Now mark what followed and what betide, for it being on Christmas morning. For recreation we went on a tramp, and we met Sergeant Pepper and Corporal Gramp, and a little wee drummer in Canada camp, for the day being pleasant and charming. Good morning, the sergeant did cry, and the same to you, gentlemen, we did reply. Not meaning to stop, we just meant to pass by, for it being on Christmas morning. Now, says the sergeant, if you'll enlist, it's 10 guineas in gold I will slip in your fist, and a crown in the bargain for to kick up the dust and drink the king's health in the morning. For a soldier he leads a very fine life, and he always is blessed with a charming wife. He pays all his bills without sorrow or strife. He always looks pleasant and charming. And a soldier he always is decent and clean, in the finest of clothing he's constantly seen, while other poor fellows go dirty and mean and sup on thin gruel in the morning. But says Arthur, I wouldn't be proud of your clothes, for you've only the lend of them, as I suppose, and you dare not change them one night, for you know, if you do, you'll be flogged in the morning. And although that we are decent and free, we take great delight in our own company, and we have no desire strange faces to see, although that your offer is charming. No, we have no desire to take in advance all hazard and danger we will barter on chance, for you would have no scruples to send us to France, where we would get shot without a warning. No, says the sergeant, I'll have no such chat, and I am not to hear it. Fist I'll beat up rat. If you insult me with one other word, I'll cut off your heads in the morning. So Arthur and I We both drew our blades, and we scarce gave them time for to draw their own swords, when a trusty scheme-do came over their head, and bade a take that as fair warning. And their old rusty rapiers that hung by their side, we flung them as far as we could in the tide. Go on, pick 'em up, devils, cried our thunder bride, and temper their edge in the morning. And the little wee drummer, well, we flattened his brow, and we made a football of his rowdy-dow-dow. Threw that in the tide for to rock and to roll, and bid it a courteous returning. Oh, and having no money paid them off in stabs, we paid no respect to their two bloody backs. We left them for dead like a pair of wet sacks. We left them for dead in the morning. Now so to conclude and finish disputes, we obligingly asked if they wanted recruits. We were the lads that would give them their dues, for the day being pleasant and charming. Me and my cousin, one Arthur McBride, as we went a-walking down by the seaside. Now mark what followed and what did betide, for it being on Christmas morning.
Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. Hope you're all doing well.
Great song, that. All about, what is it, basically, grievous bodily harm at Christmas time.
Just like the Gorms family Christmas.
Christmas, eh? Well, I read a book this week, Duncan.
You did? Did you get to the end?
I did. The last page was actually a real treat, but I'll tell you about that as we go. Unfortunately, I'd ordered a hard copy of it to show you this week on the stream, but I got banned from Amazon for some slanderous comments that I made about Robert M. Price's latest mysticism book. So they banned me for a week, and I think that's caused it to be delayed a little bit. But I thought I'd tell you about it anyway. And actually, I spoke to Jack before the stream came on. We were on Tinder together. We had a little chat about it. And he's lined up a couple of pictures, because the book is called Pickles for the Knowing Ones. Have you read it?
Pickles or tickles? Did you say pickles or tickles?
Pickles for the Knowing Ones is the name of the book.
I'm not aware of that one.
Well, you really should be, because I got to say it's probably the best book I've ever read in my entire life. And it's about a chap called Timothy Dexter, who was born in America, in New England, in 1747. So I came across him when I was looking at things to do with the uprising of 46, and I came across him. I didn't think too much of it, but I really went down the rabbit hole on him, and now I guess he's one of my all-time favorite characters. You remember when we were recording the last record, and I recorded the story about Peter Williamson, who was the entrepreneur? No, you don't. It was that good. Okay. Anyway, we had to drop it, remember?
Is he the one that ended up getting sold into slavery?
That's right, yeah. And he wrote a book.
So is this guy, would you like a picture of Timothy Dexter?
Yeah, if you could bring up Lord Timothy Dexter, that'd be fantastic. Yeah. So he was born in New England in America, just past Glasgow, in 1747. And he was born to a very poor family. And as he grew up, he always knew there was better things in life for him than what had been lined up for him. So I immediately got a kinship with him when I learned that he dropped out of school when he was 8 years old, and for the rest of his life would remain completely illiterate. He couldn't read or write. So I thought, well, this is a guy a lot like myself. So he was working on a farm for a while, and then when he was 16, Timothy Dexter, he got a bit lucky. He became a tanner's apprentice, so he worked as a leather maker, and it made more money than any of the money that him and his family had made up until that point. He was doing very well. So he moved into I think it's called Newburyland. I think I got that right. Newburyland, which is a town in New England, and he got rich. So he got rich in much the same style as the two of you got rich, marrying a very wealthy older woman. So a bit of a cop-out, but apart from that, I feel a lot of kinship to him. He married a woman who was called Lady Frothingham, a wonderful name. And Lady Frothingham, she was 36, I think he was 16. And she was an incredibly wealthy widow, or is it a widower? Either way, he ended up living with her. And so he decided to figure out what he needed to do now that he was a wealthy man. So he did what most of the people in New England were doing. And he wanted to get into politics, something that's very close to your heart, Jack. So he got into politics, but in quite an unorthodox way. Because he couldn't read or write, he obviously wasn't that great of a politician, but he campaigned furiously to the Newburyland Council by writing lots of letters to them, demanding that he have a position as an aristocrat should, as a councillor. And eventually they gave him a position, and they had to make it up. They were just fed up of him, so they gave him a position as the Watcher of Deer, which was the position that he held for a year. And his job was to go around New England and take a record of all the deer that were in New England. There's no deer in New England, but he did it anyway. He took the job very seriously. And he kept a log, apparently, of all the deer that he had not seen. And he drew these sort of crude pictures, which was handed into the council in Newburyland. They had this book of crude drawings and illegible writing, which they promptly threw away. But he was quite happy because he thought he'd got the position in the right way. He was an aristocrat and he'd been a councillor. So after that, he looked around to see what else they were doing in Newburyland, and most of them were investing money in various different businesses. So he decided to get involved with that. And the big business when he was growing up was something called the American dollar, which was this brand new currency that was being invented because a war was about to take place between America and Britain. And lots of the soldiers in America were investing heavily into the dollar. They were worried that the dollar would be worthless. So the aristocrats in New England, as a show of support for the local troops, they had started to buy dollar off them and give them, real money, not dollar, in sterling. Now, in a bizarre twist, Timothy, who didn't know really why aristocrats were buying the dollar, he ended up buying dollar from aristocrats as well. He just told everyone, I'll buy all the dollar. And he bought it all. And then America won their war of independence, and the government recognized the dollar, which made Timothy Dexter now a very, very rich man indeed. So now that he had a huge amount of money, he invested it into some interesting enterprises. But to do this, he wasn't sure what he should invest in. So he bought 2 boats, and then he went to speak to local aristocrats for a bit of advice. Now, bearing in mind that he had been the minister of deer watching in New England, the aristocrats didn't really like him very much. They thought he was very annoying, this bizarre guy who had somehow fallen into wealth. So they gave him a couple of stupid business ventures, one of which was selling bedpans. You know the bedpans that they hang up in the underground? You put under your bed, warms the bed up with coals. So they said, well, you should sell bedpans to the Caribbean. They're demanding bedpans, which was, of course, a cruel joke to play on him because it's very warm in the Caribbean, as Jack would know. So he filled up the bedpans on the boat, and he sent the boat down to the Caribbean, and the captain of the boat said to the locals, these are for scooping molasses, and everyone bought them, and he made quite a lot of money. So the boat came back with all his money, and he thought to himself, that was pretty good. These aristocrats are nice guys. I'll go speak to them again. So Timothy goes to the aristocrats, and they told him, well, you should sell coal to Newcastle. If you live here in Britain, that's a pretty stupid thing because Newcastle's got a lot of coal. So he did just that. He bought a whole bunch of coal from America, and he shipped it across the Atlantic Ocean to Newcastle, which is where the coal mines of Britain are based. And when his boats arrived in Newcastle, there was a miners' strike. There was no coal. So they sold the coal for quite a handsome profit. So the boats come back, and he now thinks, well, I'm doing pretty well. The aristocrats are furious, of course, but he was delighted with himself. He thought, I know a thing or two about how business works. At this time in New England, they were rounding up all the stray cats to have them killed because they didn't need them anymore, same as we did in Edinburgh, all the Greyfriars Bobby and what have you. So all the stray cats that were rounded up to be killed, Timothy Dexter bought them from Newburyland, and he put several thousand stray cats on a boat, and he thought these will make really nice pets with people in the Caribbean. So he sold them to the Caribbean, and in the Caribbean, they were overrun with rats, and they thought, well, we'll buy all these cats. So again, he made a massive profit. You can see how this guy's luck goes, right? Now, by this time, the people that were in Newburyland, the aristocrats, they absolutely hated him, but he had become one of the wealthiest men in America, so he bought himself a house, a huge house, and Jack, I sent you a picture of the house that he built. This beautiful palace that was in New England. Most of it's now ruined because of storms. But what he did when he bought the house was he had 44 wooden statues, carved and built. And these were of great philosophers and thinkers. You can see a few of them in the pictures. He had like, I can't remember, it was Jefferson and Plato. And of course, a statue of himself. And underneath his statue, it said, the greatest in the East, the greatest in the West, the greatest philosopher in the Western world. It's an amazing statue. And the man that carved the statues, well, he was shot by Timothy Dexter, because Timothy Dexter, when he went outside, he thought that one of the statues, which had been named correctly as Thomas Jefferson, was actually the statue of William Pitt, or the statue of Pitt. So he shot the guy in the leg because he was furious about it. So it's about this time that Dexter, who's now one of the richest men in America, he wonders if people are going to remember him well. He was concerned about his legacy. So he faked his own death, as you did, Duncan, several years ago, to get rid of that strange guy that was hanging around with you. But Jack, you're still here. So he faked his own death. And then at the funeral, he noticed that his wife was not very upset. Lady Frothingham was not too upset that Timothy had died. So he had been hiding behind a curtain at the funeral, and he runs out from behind the curtain with a cane, and he starts beating his wife vociferously in front of everybody. And after that, he told everyone his wife was dead because he didn't like her anymore. Now, they did still live together. They had 2 children. And when people would come around to the house and ask about his wife, because his wife was there, he would tell them that his wife had died and that that was a ghost that people were seeing. And because Timothy Dexter had become so rich and influential in America, as a huge capitalist, really incredibly wealthy man, people just said, okay, well, if your wife's dead and you say she's dead, that's fine. So it's about this time that Timothy Dexter decides that he needs to leave a massive legacy behind and decides to become an author. Now, please bear in mind the fact that Lord Timothy Dexter had dropped out of school when he was 8, and he couldn't read, he couldn't write, but he wrote a book, and it's called Pickles for the Knowing Ones, which is an amazing title, which to this day, I think no one really understands what it's about, but there is great philosophical debate about what Pickles for the Knowing Ones is all about. It's an amazing book, and I must recommend it to everybody. You can actually get it on a PDF these days. You can just read it on the internet without buying the copy. But if you want to buy the copy, someone somewhere that's got no relation to Timothy Dexter would probably be very happy if you did so. The nice thing about this book is it's a couple of 100 pages long. It's got about 5,000 words, and it has no punctuation. Like no punctuation whatsoever, and all the words are spelt completely wrong, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm not going to read it bits to you on here, but I would urge you to go and have a read of it yourself. And it was very successful. Basically him just getting stuck into his wife, who's dead, the church, his children, all kinds of things about philosophy. He's a very, very intellectual guy. And it ran to 9 editions in the end. And at first it was free, but afterwards he sold the book for money. And around about the 3rd edition, because he'd had some complaints from aristocrats that now absolutely hated him, he was now the 3rd richest man in America. And they hated him and they slandered the book. They said, oh, this book is terrible. It has no punctuation. The spelling is wrong. So if you do get a copy of the book, have a look at the last page. As long as it's not the 1st edition or the 2nd edition, the 3rd edition onwards, the last page of the book is a whole page, it's 30 lines, and it's just punctuation marks. Apostrophes, colons. And at the bottom it says, please feel free to sprinkle these through the book as you require. Lord Timothy Dexter, the greatest entrepreneur I've ever come across, and I must say one of the luckiest men ever, or perhaps just a very intelligent man who played a very good trick on everybody. So that was our book club for this week. A little bit drawn out and no hard copy. Maybe I'll show it in the future. But I wonder if, Jack, you'd like to give us a song, and then we'll come back and we'll get some of these viewer comments after that.
That was awesome.
Let's have Jocko Bradesley.
Ooh, that's a change of pace there.
Johnny got up on a May morning, called for water to wash his hands. Says, "Get loose to me, my twa grey ducks that lie in irons, bands that lie in iron bands." Well, Johnny's mither, she heard o' this, her arms for Duncan way. Says, "Johnny, for your venison, to the greenwood dinny gang, gang, to the greenwood dinny gang." But Johnny has got his good ben bow, his arrows are one by one, and he's awa to the greenwood gang, to ding the dun deer doon doon, to ding the dun deer doon. Well, Johnny shot and the dun deer leapt, he wounded her in the side, and there between the water and the woods the greyhounds laid her pride, the greyhounds laid her pride. Oh, they ate so much o' the venison, they drank so much o' the blood, that Johnny and his twa grey ducks, they fell asleep as though were deed, fell asleep as though were dead. Well, then by their cam, a silly old man, and ill death may he die, for he's awa to summit the seven foresters for to see the foresters for to see. Well, as I came in by morning musk, down among young strucks, well, there I saw the bonniest youth lying sleeping atween twa ducks lying sleeping atween twa ducks. The buttons that were upon his sleeve, they were the gout sae good. The twa greyhounds that he lay between, their moos were dyed with blood, their moos were dyed with blood. Well, then up and jumps the first forester. He was captain of them all. He says if that be Jock or Bradley, then unto him we'll draw, then unto him we'll draw. Well, the first shot that the foresters fired, it hit Johnny on his knee. Aye, the second shot that the foresters fired, his heart's blood's spillin' by day, his heart's blood's spillin' by day. So then up jumps Johnny, fell to his sleep, and an angry man was he. He's singing, oh, I tell you what can make them asleep. Hear my heart's blood spillin' by day, my heart's blood spillin' by day. So he's pressed his back against an oak, his arm upon a stane, and he has fired at the 7 of them. He's killed them all, but 10, he's killed them all, but 10. He's broken twa, oh, that one's ribs, his arm and his collar vein, and he has set him upon his horse with a tidings sent him, the tidings sent him. But Johnny's good bend bow is broke, his twa grey dugs lie slain, and his body lies in Monymusk. His hunting days are dane, his hunting days are dane.
No, I refuse it. No, I
Wonderful.
I absolutely refuse, Duncan. Impossible. Madness. Are we live?
We're live.
Well, you always say that, but
Oh, with aliens. Aliens. Anyway, welcome back.
Sidestep that before we get into another argument.
Do we have any super
Ken
chats?
says, welcome, Risa.
Yes, I agree.
Ken says, welcome, Risa. And Trisha D. Hall Newland is asking, what are we drinking tonight, guys?
I brought it through just to...
I've actually got two... Oh, look at that. Was that Cepa Lebril? Rioja Crianza. Very nice.
It's local, Jack?
Yeah, it's local to... what's that? Lidl, it's called. The supermarket.
Lidl?
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, but it's made... Yeah, Lidl... It's a product of Spain, but Lidl UK are the company.
Export.
Both of 19 Warple Road, Wimbledon, London, and also Lidl Ireland in Dublin. So a bit of a sort of cultural melting pot, this wine, and yeah, makes me feel quite sophisticated.
Excellent.
Duncan?
Well, I've got two things on the go. It was such a hot day, I couldn't decide which refreshing drink I wanted, so I have here... where's my camera? The other way.
Can you put that a bit more to your? Yeah, that's better. That's better.
Landgraf Radler. It's like shandy, so it's beer with lemon juice. And I also have in this glass here some Montepulciano with Coca-Cola, also known as, what do you call it again? Calimocho. Both of these things are very refreshing on a hot day. I would highly recommend them. Even together, they're not actually that bad.
Delicious.
What have you got? Oh, look at that. The ZX has come out.
ZX tonight.
Zero sugar. Oofed.
2 litres
kick it
of
off.
zero sugar cola.
Yeah, and about a half litre through it already, so.
That's diarrhea central there.
My gentleman caller said the very same thing.
Hopefully, wherever you are. Oh no, the fucking internet switched off. I've lost all the comments.
Duncan, I can't bleep you, man.
Yeah. No, it's okay, we're after the watershed now.
Oh, yeah. 9:07.
So no.
Do you want me to have a look at the comments here?
Go ahead, Jack, yeah.
Go ahead. I'll see if.
Oh, well, first of all, before I actually do that, let's thank Daniel Spee for sending us some money.
Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you, Daniel.
I think it's £20, and someone just bought our album on Bandcamp, but I have to open up my email to be able to see that.
I hope you like it, whoever you are.
Was it possibly Risa? Because before.
Oh yeah, she meant.
Oh no, I've got the comments back. Oh, there we go.
It was.
Right, hang on.
Oh no, I tell you what. The first thing, Daniel bought our album. That's what happened there. Daniel Spee bought a compact disc of Not for Glory Nor Riches. So cheers, Daniel. We'll get this sent to you. All right, so you want me to have a look at these comments?
This laptop's got a life of its own. It just keeps.
So
this is dead air, guys.
Yeah.
Scroll up. It just.
David Lee Smith says, I used to live in
I think I've got it
Arbroath.
working now.
Okay. David Lee Smith says, I used to live in Arbroath. Don't judge me. And the Old Maid in the Garret was huge there. The rock and roll equivalent to being big in Japan. There we go. Well, we should go and play in Arbroath then. When they open.
No, I know the Old Maid in the Garret he's talking about. I'm not sure we're welcome back there.
And Risa Glass says, yep, pronounced Risa. Good to know.
I think quite often we end up on Star Trek chat, and that's why Risa came into my head in the first place. So sorry about that, Risa.
Ken replies to David, a bit of Crowdy, Rocket, and Arbroath Smoky on an oat cake is one of my favourites. Sounds pretty good.
That sounds pretty tasty, actually.
Duncan says, first thing to make me laugh out loud all week. Arthur McBride is about grievous bodily harm at Christmas.
It pretty much
Ken.
is, isn't it?
David Lee Smith says, Robert M. Price, ... Jesus. David Lee Smith also says, is that a very small dog-headed man in that drawing? I think it is, actually. Dog-headed man goes right back to stream 9 or something, you know. This is good. You've got to keep the continuity going here.
There's usually some chat with aliens as well and conspiracies.
Now, here we go again.
He says, New England is full of weird stuff. Stephen King country. Trisha D says, after that, we are now living in New England. I can confirm that David speaks the truth. What's weird about it?
Timothy Dexter, among many other things. Lovecraft country.
David
loads of Stephen King novels, aye.
David Lee Smith says, start a blog, Stewart. I'll sign up now. Don't get him started.
OnlyFans.
Aye, fine idea. A Trump-like blog, but with far wider readership, to be sure, says Ken. And Daniel Spee says, vlog would be better, need Stu's voice with it. There we go. Or like a radio show, that'd be good.
Like a radio show like this.
A podcast.
Yeah. Should we play another song and then get through some more comments?
Good idea, man.
All right, let's do it. I've
let's
got
go.
let's see, something a bit different. Lord of the Dance.
Oh, that's an oldie.
I think
I
that's one of your
danced in the
favorites.
morning when the world began. I danced in the moon and the stars and the sun came down from heaven, and I danced on the earth. At Bethlehem I had my birth. Dance, dance, whatever you may be, I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all. Whatever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, said he. Dance for the scribes and the Pharisees, they wouldn't dance, they wouldn't follow me. I danced for the fishermen, James or John, they came with me and the dance went on. Dance, dance, whatever you may be, I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all. Whatever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, said he. Danced on the Sunday and I cured the lame. The holy people said it was a shame. They hung me, stripped me, left me high, where they're up on the cross to die. Dance, dance, whatever you may be, I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all. Whatever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, said he. Danced on the Friday and the world turned black. It's hard to dance with the devil on your back. They burned my body, they thought I was gone. I am the Lord and the dance went on. Dance, dance, whatever you may be, I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all. Whatever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, said he. They knocked me down, but I leapt up high, for I am the dance that will never, never die. I'll live in you if you live in me. I am the Lord of the dance, said he. Dance, dance, whatever you may be, I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all. Whatever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance. Oh, dance, dance, whatever you may be, I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all. Whatever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, said he. Oh.
Well, folks, I hope you have been enjoying the music this evening. It is approaching that time of night, of course, when I have to go and work the streets, as a lowly musician does these days. But maybe are you two staying around tonight? Duncan, you're probably hitting the high spots of Vienna working hard. Is that right?
Not tonight. I've got quite a busy weekend lined up. So
Could you maybe continue the stream tonight on your phone, just sort of going round all the hot spots of Vienna?
Great.
Well, I tell you what.
Or Jack.
Well, carry on.
Well, I was going to suggest Malibu might be an even more exotic location. You have a look at the Four in Hand and Minders Bar, all those famous Malibu destinations.
The Marksman. That's a nice Malibu pub.
But before we're finished here, I guess we have time for another song, or even two, and then a glorious outro. But Duncan, have you got any more important chats that we need to get to on the fax machine?
Yeah, I can get to these chats. So, yeah, Ken and Daniel's suggested vlog that you do. Ken sort of talks about it some more. He says, Daniel, I like the notion, but it would require a modicum of technical expertise, far beyond that needed to accept an invitation to join a Zoom call.
Well said.
Yes, you'd have to actually host one.
And one sec, it says David Lee Smith sent us £20. Thank you so much. Cheers, David.
Oh, thank you very much, David.
And I think the other day David sent. It was 2 weeks ago when we did the stream when we were playing together. He sent us a message that we didn't see, but it was a picture of the whiskey that he was drinking. So cheers for that message, David, as well.
I did see that. Cheers, David. Yeah.
And then Ken says, Daniel says maybe someone can help him out. Call him on Zoom, record the call, and then post online or even stream live. Well, Duncan will sign up for that. Oh, sure, right. Ken says, have you ever have you ever tried to guide your auntie through even a simple exercise on a computer? Circuits will fuse and power supplies begin smoking.
Well, smoke. There will be smoking if it's Stu's vlog anyway.
It'll just be reviews of like different cigarettes and tobacco.
Immediately banned.
David Lee Smith says, "Geez, a guitar solo." I'm assuming you mean because of
Jacob Radesley.
Yeah, there is. I recorded rare time that I'm allowed on it off my leash on the Gorms.
Yeah, we brought in a guitarist for that song.
I found these comments though. But anyway, carry on.
And David says, that's by a mile the best version of Jacob Radesley in existence. By a mile. Cheers, man.
Totally.
Oh, you just agree, Duncan. You're just like, aye.
It's your favourite.
It's one of my favourites, man. How can I not agree with that?
Like, that's quite if someone comes up to you and go, oh, I'm a big fan of like your bagpipe playing on this song, Duncan. I think it's really, really great. And you go, totally.
I would, but no one's ever said that to me.
That's the best bagpipe playing I've ever heard on this album. Totally.
I was somebody else.
Any more comments, Jack?
Daniel says, haha, yes, actually tried this with my auntie. It was a massive pain. And Ken says, taking requests for next week's bake-off, the Gorms bake-off. With advance notice.
There's only one contestant.
It's Ken. But it's good to see what he bakes. With advance notice, I can do it. Provide photos and recipe for those interested. Theoretical bake ideas are also welcome. Well, what's your views on tatty scones? It's not really baking, is it? But how do you? I don't know.
That's the question. Theoretical tatty scones. What would you like to see? What would your perfect tatty scone be, Jack? Would it have some red wine in it? Could it be a red wine tatty scone?
Raisins and red wine tatty scone.
Nah. Chocolate chip tatty scone. Can we do that?
Maybe we could have another Gorms ad. Get another sponsor. Do it about tatty scones.
Oh, there we go. Maybe we could get Ken's bacon expertise in a sponsorship ad for the Gorms.
And David says, I've found at home with my auntie. Oh, there we go.
Bonnie Dundee.
No, that's Kelly Cranky, isn't it?
Close.
Oh yes, it is. It's Kelly Cranky. Sorry, you're right. Well, they're both about the same guy, you know.
Right. Riza Glass says whizzy. Is it whiskey? You mean? Not sure.
Possibly.
Trisha.
I would err on the side of whiskey.
Trisha D. Hall Newland says, you're going native, Duncan, mixing your red wine and cola.
Absolutely.
Caroline Lee Smith says, Timothy Dexter's eccentric business deals seemed quite normal compared to all the influencers and people making millions from selling the rights to memes. Yeah, pretty much.
He was ahead of his time.
Well, we're not selling the rights to the Gorms memes, that's for sure. That's for all the Gormkin. And
absolutely.
But maybe we'll make an NFT of our first photo shoot together. David Lee Smith says, we're drinking Shackleton here. Can we have Northwest Passage? I can see if I can set that up. Let's see if we get any other requests first.
Shackleton went to the South Pole, right? He was in a race with Amundsen to be the first of the South Pole, and he came second. Is that right?
I have no idea.
Pretty sure.
Or I thought Shackleton was north.
Okay, maybe.
You know, why is it they don't let anyone go to the South Pole?
because they might run into the secret Nazi underground base, and they don't want anyone to know that it still exists.
And the ice wall.
And the portal to another dimension. And of course, you might also get eaten by a Terminator, a Predator, or an alien.
A penguin. Yeah, I mean,
all this kind of shit goes on at the South Pole. Don't go there because penguins might eat you. If not, then it'll be a Predator or an alien or a Nazi.
I was going to write a book about the South Pole, but no one would buy it, so I didn't bother.
Before you even started writing it, you didn't start?
Yeah, well, it seemed like a very good idea for 6 hours. Then the pub closed, and I thought, it's not one of my better ideas.
So I'm loading up Northwest Passage here.
Okay,
it's one of my favourites. In a few seconds. It is indeed.
It is a quality. I am getting confused. It was Scott that went to the South Pole.
Yeah, same difference. You go
but Shackleton did get beaten, right? And so they decided to bring back 25 tons of rocks or something. Or is that still Scott?
That, Duncan, is a story for another podcast.
Another stream. Okay, forget what I'm on about. We'll do that another time.
Here's the Northwest Passage.
For just
Take care.
one time, I would take the Northwest Passage to find the hand of Franklin, reaching for the Beaufort Sea, tracing one more line through a land so wide and savage, and make a Northwest Passage to the sea. Westward from the Data Strait, 'twas there 'twas said to lie, the sea route to the Orient, for which so many died. Chasing gold and glory, leaving withered, broken bones, and a long-forgotten, lonely care that stones. For just one time, I would take the Northwest Passage to find the hand of Franklin, reaching for the Beaufort Sea, tracing one more line through a land so wide and savage, and make a Northwest Passage to the sea. 3 centuries thereafter, I take passage overland, in the footsteps of brave Kelso, where his sea of flowers began. Watching cities rise before me, and behind me sink again. This tardiest explorer driving hard across the plains. For just one time, I would take the Northwest Passage to find the hand of Franklin, reaching for the Beaufort Sea, tracing one more line through a land so wide and savage, and make a Northwest Passage to the sea. And through the night, behind the wheel, the mileage clicking west, I think upon Mackenzie, David Thompson, and the rest, who cracked the mountain ramparts and did show a path for me to race the roaring Fraser to the sea. For just one time, I would take the Northwest Passage to find the hand of Franklin, reaching for the Beaufort Sea, tracing one more line through a land so wild and savage, and make a Northwest Passage to the sea. How then am I so different from the first men through this way? Like them I've left a settled life, I threw it all away, to seek the Northwest Passage at the call of many men, to find there but the road back home again. For just one time, I would take the Northwest Passage to find the hand of Franklin, reaching for the Beaufort Sea, tracing one more line through a land so wide and savage, and make a Northwest Passage to the sea. and northwest passage to the sea.
I don't know about you, but that has got to be one of the best recordings that I've ever heard. That local band,
Totally.
the Gorms, they're going places.
Totally,
Yeah.
man.
All the way to Malibu, I believe.
Look, lads, the doorbell's ringing here. I'm gonna have to log out pretty soon. Can we get through the rest of these comments before we call it a night tonight?
Let's do that. Let's see here.
Well, Risa Glass is saying, wasn't me yet, but as soon as I'm done with the laundry.
Have you got the rest of the question, the
with-
comments?
I do. It's working again, I hope. So I believe that was, because she was asking if we have an alternative to PayPal for donations, which we don't, but Ken did point out that we do have 4 albums, so if you don't have them, you can just donate and you get a free CD, or you can buy a
Or a
CD.
download.
Exactly. So that's it kind of works the same way. And Daniel's saying, yes, it was me. Need a new CD in my car. I'm not sure how long the Legend Lord and Lost Weekend CD still lasts, since I play it all the time while driving.
Well, like I said at the beginning
don't-
of the stream, the new album, Time's a Trial, is definitely coming on CD. So we should have it sometime in the next month, hopefully. So we'll keep you informed about that.
I'm looking forward to that.
You get to see
David's
the
saying, oh God,
packaging.
yes, Stu reads Lovecraft. Oh yeah. The photo that looks like a 1960s Corey's album or a 1970s Jethro Tull album, that kind of classic bordering. Looking forward to having that.
Oh,
Ken says, I love it. Struggling to keep my hands by my sides, however. David says, the Call of
your hands away.
There's a folk song waiting for an audience. Ken saying, Stewart, can you let the locals know what corner you'll be working tonight and the basic rates?
Of course, Ken. I'm ahead of the curve there. Don't worry. Business is booming.
you better not send that to the Gorms
Caroline
donations,
says-
though.
No, because we'll all get jealous at how much he makes. or we'll all be surprised at how little, I don't know. Caroline says, Stuart, never mind Vienna or Malibu, let's have a late night tour of Chuch.
It's coming.
A tour of
It's
Chuch.
coming.
A tour of Chuch on the street corners.
Virtual
If we connect
Chuch
the dots.
tour.
I think we get our
Ken
stream
says-
banned for that.
Oh, well, yeah, it could happen. Ken says, cheers, brothers. Jack, your intro playing was very fine, and I was struggling to name it. Great idea for a guessing game next time.
Yes.
Is that the intro as in all the way back at the start of the stream
It
and
must
the Dark
be
Island?
the Dark Island, yeah. I didn't do the guessing thing. That's usually Duncan. It's Duncan Teaser or whatever that's called, isn't it?
By Duncan. He's by night.
Yeah, there's been a few weeks now since we had one, but I did have an idea for another one. But it
We could
will
always
not
just
be,
play Come
being-
Together again. Got that here.
Run it back.
Well, if anybody wants to hear that again, it can be done. And if the next teaser, it'll have to wait till I'm back in Scotland. But when I do get back to Scotland, I'll have to self-isolate for 10 days, so maybe I'll have time to get it done then.
A
Ken
whole
says,
album
I
of
can
teasers.
make a massive, delicious... Yeah. A whole album of teasers, why not? It could almost be like a new project.
But you buy the first album, you guess, and then
You only get the intros.
and then you send the answers to us. If you get it right, we send you the whole album after you buy that as well. So,
So we get to
Prizes
sell.
to be won.
We get to sell the same thing twice.
yeah.
But
And
the
one of
first
them
one's-
just no point in it
is
at
rubbish.
all. But yeah, you get to waste plastic.
Get to waste plastic. Well, aye. Ken's saying, I can make a massive, delicious tatty scone. No raisins, no chocolate, you...
Or
Fair enough.
Maybe like a homemade sausage roll, something like that.
Oh, now we're talking. No, even better. What about a haggis roll?
There you go.
Haggis and black pudding roll. Now we're talking. Yeah. He goes on to say, cheers to all my mates. Oh, come on.
Cheers.
Don't do this again.
If you want me to take over.
All right, here we go. Cheers to all my mates. Thanks for an entertaining afternoon and your indulgence of my foolishness. Feel free to post or message me if you have suggestions like salmon layer cake or shut the F you.
Good. Very good.
Oh, absolutely. David says, great night, thank you. Daniel says, agreed, David. Thanks, Gorms and Gormlings.
Thank
Trisha
you.
D says, lovely way. Oh, come back.
Get that fax machine working, Duncan.
Trisha D says, what a lovely way to start the weekend. Thank you, gents, for the entertaining afternoon. And Ken finishes there. I put my hand to God. You blokes are the only ones who make me laugh out loud all week. I'm yours. And David says, you had me at Gorms. Well, thanks, everyone, for your participation.
Yes.
And hope you enjoyed it.
We've just been discussing.
You'll be back soon.
We can't be sure what's going to happen next Friday. Something might happen, we think, but we don't know what it's going to be. So we'll find out, I suppose. I'll put up an announcement.
We'll keep you posted.
Yep.
We'll keep you posted.
All right. Time to say goodbye. Listen to a little bit of a certain theme tune from a certain show that if we don't say the title, we won't get flagged for copyright here. So,
Duncan, good luck with the gigs next week.
Thank you.
Jack, I'll see you tomorrow, somehow from Malibu back to Edinburgh. I'll see you for the gig tomorrow night in the Piper's Rest, right?
Yes, if anyone's in Edinburgh, come along tomorrow or try and book a table anyway before you come because they're not really allowed to let loads of people in. But if you manage to do that, that would be great to see you.
We'll be behind a plastic screen like Spock and Kirk. Guys, it was good to see you both. And Gormkin, thank you so much for tuning in. It's really nice that we can still have your week. Look after yourselves. Don't talk to the police. We'll see you soon.
Cheerio.
Duncan. I don't want to tune out now. It doesn't matter. But we can when we get face to face. Okay.
Should I bring a hand bag?
Yeah, you better bring.